Getting started now. The topic of discussion is the elephants in the room. We all know what the elephants are. You know, you got the voting situation going on, which is the one I really want to tackle first. You know, I got three things I want to touch on, but I want to start with the voting situation. You know, which I've said this to y'all decades ago. You know what I mean? My stance when it comes to voting. You know, I'm just of the school of thought that I don't want to vote just for the sake of voting. I honor, respect, and understand that our people died and fought for our right to vote. And we're supposed to take advantage of that right to vote. However, I do have an issue with voting just for the sake of voting. You know what I mean? Because I don't think they fought and died for that. See what I'm saying? Now, that being said, I had posted about 2 months ago, I had put a post out that, you know, okay, we don't want 45 in office. I don't want 45 in office neither. But man, did Biden do anything to make me say, I can hang my hat on him and say, he mean my entire people any good. You know what I mean? He done some things, yes, but he sure got one big dark cloud hanging over his head, man, that's against my people. Us three in particular, because of where we were from. We were results of his dark cloud. See what I'm saying? In terms of the sentencing structure and lock us up and all this stuff there. That being said, I know people change. All three of us have changed. We're not the same men we were 20 years ago when the people put their jury on us. Right or wrong, you know what I mean? So I understand, I respect that people change. So I sat there diligently and listened to that debate. I watched it, I looked at facial expressions and all that. Now, one thing I can say about Biden was calm in his demeanor. He wanted to reach across that table and smack the hell out of that boy, which I did too. However, he maintained his composure. You know what I mean? For that, I respect him for that. He maintained his composure. He called him a clown, but he said it in a more intelligent manner, I think, as opposed to just trying to flat out degrade him as a man. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed the way he addressed that. However, I don't really think he won me over. Like he didn't really wow me. Like, oh man, my people gonna be straight now. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think almost anything could be better than Trump, but you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it, man. And I want to hear y'all thoughts on that as well. Whichever one of y'all want to go first.
Go ahead, son. You know I always play the background.
Hey, that's what I used to do him when we had when we was doing the peer education class. I always say, KT, you go first. I'll clean up.
I have a lot of different views about that, and I understand exactly what you mean. I understand that the people view voting, our community, at least our community views voting kind of in the same way, right? And I think it's kind of been indoctrinated us for generations and decades. I say that all the time. But one thing we do have to realize is voting. The only thing that will affect us in a greater way is the policy changes, right? We're thinking about the individuals. We're thinking about, well, most of the time, us as a community, we only come out during the presidential election because a lot of ways that's something to talk about, you know, and that's something for people to have a conversation about. But when you think about all the other local elections that really matter most to us, we don't adhere to those. Right? We talk about the president, just like a lot of people say Obama didn't do nothing for us. And I think that's just a lot of conversation. If you think about what Obama did do for us, then you'll have a different outlook. It just didn't touch the hood. It didn't touch us, right, in that sense. But voting is paramount because it actually changes the policies. And if you have people in office that's not for us at all, if you have people in office that's totally against us, as you see with this cat Trump, then that generational curse or that generational myth that has been spread for generations continue to perpetuate itself, right? It continues to grow. It continues to grow wings. And that disillusions a lot of us from voting anyway. But those are the only things that we can actually do to change the way us as a people are viewed and moved around in this country. The voting right, being able to put people in, like I tell people now, we have the opportunity to take a 3-year-old child and groom him to be the next president of the United States. We have the ability in our own communities, right? We so used and caught up with saying what they're doing. Someone else is doing something, but we have yet to put the onus on ourselves. And we continue to disillusion our community with these untruths about the power that is in voting. No matter who the person that you're voting for is, right? You got to understand that your vote counts. And collectively, if we get collective as a people and start determining, even on a small level in our own communities, when it comes, like you think about the Alderman, you think about the aldermen, the city council people, even here in Champaign-Urbana, if we figure out and find those individuals who are for the community, they walk their totem pole. So they can start off as an alderman and in 4 years be a mayor because we got behind him and realized that he is for our greater good. We're not going to find that too much when you talk about so much the presidential election. That shit is, I mean, excuse my language, but that's just as for, that's TV media stuff, right? When we think about what really concerns us are the things that we as a community ignore totally, right? We don't talk about politics to every 4 years when one of these people are on TV talking about they're going to run for presidents. It's so many other people that dictate policies, even from the presidential standpoint. You have the Senate, you have the House, you know, all those different people who impede that process. Our concern should be those who are in our local areas, those people who really define what goes on locally. And just to dispel the myth also, and I'll let Kate talk after this, change don't come in the morning. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Just because you vote today, you can't expect no change tomorrow. It has to be something that is regular, right? Even as a community, getting together as a community is a regular thing. Finding those politicians and those community leaders who are actually for the community, who have some kind of stake in the way that the community is thought about, the way that the community is represented, and then we hold those people accountable as we move forward. And I'll let Kate jump in from there.
Yeah, I think both of y'all covered like the basis. So I'm gonna probably like tip tap on both of them. Like what you was talking about at the beginning, Crumb. Like, man, I tuned into the presidential debate. So to rewind back to our prison time, the one thing that we used to always say is, man, that idiot box got you, right? Yeah. So this is a part of how we get uneducated. Because that's all you see. Like, if you go on Facebook, the first thing is, are you ready to vote? And they're going to show you the presidential vote, right? You go on YouTube, the presidential vote. So what we were in right now, we in our 40 days of hood vote, right? HBN10, our 40 days of hood vote, where we've been going around to the high hope areas, making sure people register to vote, telling them about safe voting. So I had a conversation with a female. So I had a conversation with a female, and she was like, tell me why I should vote. Like, we had, and the odd thing is, like, I met her the night before, right? I met her the night before at the restaurant. We was out at the club the night before, and she was walking her kids down the street, and I was like, man, you ready to vote? But anyway, her conversation, the question that she kept posing was, why should I vote? I don't even know the people that's running, right? Which took us to the place with the two things that we doing on the 20th and the 26th. We actually invite all the local politics out to come to a town hall that's presented by us. So one of the big things that we had to look at, like what Reese was saying, was that all politics is local. All politics is local. And the broader vision of it is, and I tell people this all the time when they get to talking about, oh man, my vote don't count. If you just pay attention to all the people that's kicking against your vote, even if we go back to the 60s, right? When they was crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge and Dr. King that was getting their brains beat in and all that was to prevent them from voting. Because understand the power that's in voting. Voting don't take no money. It don't take anything, but it's the voice of the people, it's the power of the people, right? The idea of voting. And then you look in it further. When you was talking about, you hear that saying, the lesser of two evils, right? So if I got Trump or I got Biden, the lesser of two evils I'm gonna pick. But if we have a broader thought, like Reese was saying, let's nominate somebody that's for us, right? the vote, they only up there because they the only two decided to run, right? The Democrats and the Republicans don't control everything we do. They ain't control of everything we do. And you hear that reoccurring thing, like, oh man, it's a lesson too evil. Why we haven't nominated anybody that we want to run? That's for us. When we got people that's in those positions that's able to do it, but we get caught up in the streamline of this party stuff.
Yeah.
And the same thing when Reese talking about local. So me and the girl also had a conversation that she don't know who the politicians is that's running. So my retort to her was, last night when I seen you, you was Gucci down head to the toe. Right? She was Gucci down head to toe, bro. Like, as we talking, I'm like, this girl Gucci everything. I thought she was a brand representative for Gucci, right? A brand ambassador for Gucci. She was Gucci down. And I asked her a simple question: do you know Gucci? Do you know any of Gucci designers? Can you tell me how he or she look? Because I don't know if it's a man or a lady, right?
Right.
So in that, what I was explaining to her was, you went, you worked, right? You worked all these hours, took money probably from your kids to invest in Gucci. Somebody you never gonna know, right? You literally you never gonna know Gucci. You ain't gonna never shake his hand. You ain't gonna never see him, right? But you won't take the time to get on your laptop, log on to your county clerk place, and see who running for office that's gonna immediately affect you, right? Immediately affect everything that's going on in your life. Because Gucci don't care. Gucci already showed you what it was. We don't want no black folk wearing our stuff, but you still giving Gucci money, right? Right? We don't want them hood cats. And that's the misnomer. Like, as long as we allow ourselves to be uneducated, they can keep doing what they're doing. And
then you think about this.
Yeah, people judge me, but I like Trump. I don't like him in office, but I like him because he about what he about. Right? And people speak. He speaks to his audience. Trump is the Napoleon of our day. He played the role in every position that he wanted to be in. Back when he was doing hip hops and all the rappers was rapping about being with Trump, and he was doing all the stuff he did because hip hop was supporting him. They was paying all that money to be in his hotels and shit like that. The minute he wanted to run for office, and the white supremacists and the alt-right wanted him, he started speaking their language, right? That's the same way Napoleon did when he went around trying to conquer shit. He took his ass over to Africa and tried to run up on bro them over there and see what the team was. And he told them, oh, I come in the name of the prophet. Right. He did lost his whole religion. He said, I come in the name of the prophet. Prophet Muhammad sent me. Them brothers packed him on up and put him on the seat. But that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's the mentality. As long as I keep you uneducated, you will never tune in.
Yeah.
And that's our facts.
You know, I like the way you pointed that out, both of y'all, you know, in terms of the voting, the significance of our vote and what actually affects us. Now, all three of us have had this conversation before too about, you know, when we was in there, we always, you know, everybody talk about the presidential election, this and that. All of us was always like, it really don't matter who be the president. Our vote, we won't know who's gonna be the governor, because ultimately the governor is who affects us, like directly.
And let me show you that too, Crumb, for a second. Just think about that year we was in there, we thought Blagojevich was gonna change the time on us. Remember that time? And we was telling all our family, vote for this dude, he gonna get us out. Vote for this dude, he gonna cut the time. Vote for this dude got in office and didn't think nothing about no penitentiary, nothing.
He gave us sword. He took real meat, gave us sword.
He got an office and got on the bus. He got an office and got on the bus. He wants to
But just think about that. Just think about that. We even now, and I use that analogy or that example for this example here. I've been seeing lately on Facebook some of our brothers say they're gonna support him because he's talking about giving us $5 billion or whatever he said to the black communities. And their argument is no president has ever gave nothing to the black community. So I say to them, and I use this example also. I use the Blagojevich example. Then I say, well, when he first ran, he ran for minors. He said he's gonna bring coal, all that stuff. He gonna have any from. He said he was gonna his whole campaign.
You freezing, bro?
Because Huh?
You
You
freeze.
freezing.
I'm froze.
Yeah, you freezing. You blinking in and out. All right, you back down. You straight now.
Go.
Right, so
Log in on your phone.
he
Go.
never,
Yeah.
he never fulfilled that responsibility to the core of the people that he was running for. And so what makes you think now, just because he said it, he's going to give you the same promise that he gave them and fulfill it? We disillusioned by that. And even as a community, as black people, we don't support black people. We'd rather find a reason. We'd rather find a reason to put them down than to find a reason to support them. Even with Kamala Harris, right? We'll find more reasons to put her down than more reason to support whatever it is she's doing. This, mind you, she had a career before. She did a lot of ill stuff for those who've been playing games in the streets. But we also have to think about this. If we in the streets, whatever they got coming to us, we got that coming. Whether it's laws or not, right? Because if you wasn't doing it, you wouldn't be affected by this law. Just like Obama gave $6.9 billion to historical black colleges and universities. If you're going to school and doing what you're doing, you benefit from that. But if you're on the block hustling, you won't never see no kind of effects of what he did, right? So we have to train ourselves to respect us. One, right? Respect us, because even no matter what they say about B-Rack, that's my man. I rock with him for real. No matter what they say about him, historically, he's the only person that looked like us that was there. And it wasn't him that prevented a lot of stuff he was trying to get done. It was the people that sat in the Senate and in the Congress. Yep. It wasn't him. The things that he did do, which was of very much importance. The number one thing, the health care. That man fought tooth and nail for that. And he got it for us. Because we the ones that are underserved when it comes to the health care. We underserved. But he made it possible for the same homeless guy that may be out there selling loose squares. If he got sick, he could have went to the doctor. Yep. If he didn't do nothing, this dude based his whole stint in office on destroying everything that man did.
Yes, he did.
So we have to find a way amongst us as the people, to figure out a way where we can support one another. Because nobody knows our struggle the way that we know our struggle. No matter how affluent one of the brothers and one of the sisters may be, no matter how affluent, they've dealt with the systematic racism since they would walk this earth too. Yeah. In one way or another. I always say, like I went to jail for murder. Off the avenue, Crumb, you from the avenue too. You went to, it's cats on the avenue that's very successful, never went to jail, never.
Never saw the inside of it.
Never saw the inside of a penitentiary. So it's not what we are, right? It's not like the hood. We say with hood vote, hood voice of vision. The hood is a state of mind. It's not a location. It's not a location. We indoctrinate these communities, these high hope areas with the hopeless mentality. We tell them that there's nothing that can come from out of here. Our schooling system tells us in our high hope areas that there's nothing that can come from here. So we kind of conform to the idea of someone else. We don't invest in putting that same hope and ambition into our kids. Like even now, we'll teach our kids how to, rap this Young Boy song, or you see the little baby girls out there dancing the way they weren't supposed to be doing, but we're not educating them. Right. You can grab a baby now and give them a phone. They know how to do everything in the phone. That's technology. She can create her own phone. She's 2 years old. By the time she's 21, she can learn everything that has something to do with technology and be the next Microsoft founder. You understand? It's like it's what we give our kids, especially in our communities, bro. It's what we give them, and we infect them with a hopeless mentality. And the one thing about the world and society and this systematic racism kind of aura is media is the rule of all things now. So media plays a great deal in spreading that hopelessness. Media spread it, like when we was in the jail, just think about World Star. Yeah. We was in jail when we heard about World Star. And cats got famous on World Star for bullying kids and beating them up and getting them filmed on TV. Yep. Cussing their mom out. doing stuff like that and get 16,000 views, and now they famous. The other little dude was running in stores, stealing jewelry, running out. He famous. This is an indoctrination into our kids.
Listen,
But that's a big part of that too is self-responsibility, right? We already know it been playing that way, right? This Willie Lynch the 21st century version, right? So we already know it's been playing, and we don't take that responsibility, bro. We shy away from it. It's like bro said, what we educate our kids on. So when I came home, I was like stuck on the phone. Me and bro had a bet. So I told him I was gonna know how to use my phone before we got to the city, right? So we go from Danville prison to goddamn Walmart to get the phone, and by the time we get to the city, I told him I'm gonna know how to do this, bro. So we get to the city, I don't know shit. I just know how to call somebody, right? So get a phone to my grandson. The man put 30,000 apps on there. But the first one was YouTube, right? That's the first thing we teach our kids, because we let media raise our kids.
yeah.
And the thing is learn behavior, because this is what we've been taught by generation, right?
Yeah.
Mama got to go to work, pop somewhere locked up doing something. Here, boy, take this, look, sit your ass in front of that TV. And that's it. And that come the part where we started to get educated. We didn't got comfortable for blaming other people for what happened to us. Comfortable with it.
Yep. You know,
It's the crutch. It's the crutch.
You know
It is
something?
the crutch.
We all three of us come from the same background in terms of peer education.
Right.
Right? We all three are peer educators. And one of the main things that both of y'all have heard me harp on for decades, right, was my reason for becoming a peer educator in the very first place was not only is me being in prison, is me paying my debts to society, but to prevent someone from following in my footsteps is why I became a peer educator.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You don't really repay your debt to society because you're physically in prison. To me, that's not repaying the debt. Trying to clean up something that you messed up, trying to rebuild something that you destroyed is how you repay your debt to society. That being said, each of us used to do that. You know, the guys that sit around and listen to us talk, we ain't sit around and spend no hours talking about LeBron versus Kobe or Michael Jordan, Jay-Z versus Lil Wayne. We ain't invest no whole. We might render an opinion here and there occasionally, but we didn't invest no whole extended period of time on that subject. Now, when a person, and I've been accused of it several times, both of y'all that came to me and told me what someone else done told y'all about me and my serious nature. So, you know, my thing is, you know, if you hold a conversation with Crum, then I'm going to put some fat on your head, and I'm hoping you can put some fat on my head, and we have a successful conversation. Yeah. But if you expected me to tell you I could dribble a basketball better than you, I could slam dunk, you can't, I can't, I'm not going to get into all of that. You know what I mean? So I say that to say this, to piggyback what y'all said about the media. You know, while we were in prison, Facebook blew up, took off. Facebook Live was established while we were in prison. It blew up and took off. YouTube was established, blew up, took off while we were in prison. So we know better than most people how media has been dominated everything. I've stood up in front of those classes before and I've told them that I am not an advocate for it takes a village to raise a child. That offends a lot of people, but my reason for having that stance is for this purpose. It's a whole lot of people out there I wouldn't want raising my child. It's a whole lot of people out there I wouldn't want their opinions to even filter through my children's eardrum. See what I'm saying? So, and one reason for that is this right here. Our generation, I believe, was the last generation where teaching was done in the household as opposed to the streets getting all of it. See, we went to the streets. See what I'm saying? Kids these days are of the streets. You know, to me, it's a difference, you know, because we knew when we was in the house, you put your feet on the table in the house, you probably be limping trying to get back about that house. You see what I'm saying? If you sat on the arm of the couch, you got slapped upside your head, and you know you couldn't say certain things or respond certain ways, right? Body language was included. So today, all of that is not you know, it's not an issue no more. You know, because kids just run rampant. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know, like when you look around, when y'all go to the stores and stuff right now, you know, I was out this morning taking a car to get windows tinted, and I saw a guy come in there, man. The man was older than all three of us, man. He might have been older than all three of us put together. But the man pants was on so tight, they was like, it made, remember them pants Terrell Owens was working out in when he was playing for Philly? It made them look like baggies, man. You know what I'm saying? I just looked at him, I'm like, man, who taught you how to be a man? Because men do not dress that way unless they're playing a sport that requires that. You see what I'm saying? You're just out here with some jeans on. I can see the veins in your calves. I can see your ankles. Why are you flaunting like that? You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, they don't, kids, and that's partially our fault. You know, it's partially our fault. I shoulder the blame for a lot of that too. I've gone 27 years. You know what I mean? So, I'm just one statistic in the entire equation, man, that, you know, when your father is gone, your measuring stick for what a man is as a child is either diminished or you get what you get. You roll the dice based on what the mama bring home. You see what I'm saying? So moving forward, how do we, you know, attack it? Because to me, that's a Black Lives Matter type of issue to me. I take it like that because I truly think that us conducting ourselves like men, us teaching our kids, us being there for our kids is an issue that lies within Black lives. That's the only way we, you know, to me, that's part of the matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Just like y'all said, yeah, it's cool to vote for the president and this and that, but what about the aldermen? Why not find a good champion alderman and you know, try to get him into, you know, a higher seat and walk up that ladder like y'all described. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so we have to come up with something, man. I want to come up with something. You know, and like y'all say, Rome wasn't built overnight, so I don't expect for us to sit down right now for this little hot hour and then be like, boom, ink and stone, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and then that's what we're doing. No, I want to simply develop this conversation because I like what y'all said about, well, what Reese said about let's promote someone, let's build someone, let's create someone who we think has our, as an entire people, best interest at heart. You know what I mean? You can't keep complaining about Biden and versus Trump when that's all we got. See what I'm saying? So you kind of like forced to do what I don't want to do, which is vote for the lesser two evils. You know what I'm saying? But you got to vote. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I don't know what Biden gonna do. None of us know what Biden gonna do. However, we do know what we're going to get up out of Trump. We know that for a fact. We know what we're getting with him. And in terms of him with this money he trying to give us and all that stuff there, man, I can't put no price on myself like that no more, man. No, we all done that, man. We done that already. That's why we landed up in the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? We chased the bag and we went to the penitentiary. Yeah. Now, in the same breath, I want to say this here. Our great grandparents still waiting on them 40 acres and a mule. You see what I'm saying? So
ain't think about that shit. I ain't think about no fucking.
Nah, this is what I always tell people when they throw that little loose ass promise he put up, right?
right.
Trump made a plethora of promises throughout his early campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I always ask him. So I had a cat tell me the other day, man, bro, he said he had 4 years to give you all that money. Why he ain't give it to you? 4 years. He had 2 good years where they controlled the House, the Senate. They ran government. That's how all the rich people got all the tax breaks.
Yep.
Again, this is why I say I like Trump for what he for. He took care of every motherfucker that took care of him.
Yep.
And this is the part of the education thing. If you look at what Trump demographic is, uneducated white people, right? They gonna march for him. They gonna burn the jails down. They gonna burn the Capitol Hill down. They gonna kidnap the goddamn governor in Michigan.
On the real,
right? They gonna kidnap the governor in Michigan, right? And he ain't done a motherfucking thing for them, but talk the talk that they want to hear.
That they want to hear.
That's it. So if you uneducated, I could tell you anything. Come on, like all us from out west, bro, right? It was a such thing as you had to have some silk to you. Like just rewind to our jail days. When the cat came into jail, you could look at him and watch how he move and be like, oh yeah, he from out south, right? Because you had that silk to you. They call it finesse now, right? You had that silk to you. So I recognize that in Trump. Trump talked that talk. He got a finesse in him. He got a finesse about him for the ears that's keen and want to listen to him.
Right.
He was the direct result of Obama. Right? That rural area, that demographic, they came out and voted in droves like they never did before.
Yeah, they did.
And some of them was so educated, bro. They was like, "Yeah, we ain't letting Obama get back in there." He did 2 terms. I was like, "This is the reality." Like, I really watched this shit, right? So, and this was their reality.
Yeah.
And our community got a kick just like that.
Yeah.
Right? But for more so for the local people. Cause he gonna have his hands full if he get back in there, cause Congress finna be split. Right? It's finna be split. So he ain't gonna be able to bust the moves like he wants to.
Right.
But the man king, he see it coming. That's why he ain't gonna have no, what he say, peaceful transition.
No. He said he ain't going nowhere.
You gonna have to go through on this.
Man, say gun up. I ain't going nowhere.
But he talking the talk that his people want to hear.
Right.
And with us, we don't pay attention. Like, just to get into like the what we doing, right? What HVNT doing. We got a town hall on the 26th. So as I reached out to all the politicians that's running in the local race, I didn't expect any Republicans to want to show up. So we had 2 people that committed to show up. So I'm gonna do, I gotta do my due diligence, see who they is, what they about, what they record is, and all that. One of them was stone cold racist, period. But he finna come and talk to the black man. He gonna come and talk to the black community, right? He gonna talk to that whole community about ideas about how to get y'all better, to make the situation better. Cause I'm gonna talk the talk that I need to talk to get where I need to get. And once I'm done,
they call it euphemism.
Yeah.
On the real.
Silk.
On the real.
Recognize the game. All these finessing people, pick up the book, read, look, think about it.
Okay.
I want to touch on real fast on what you said. When you're talking about where the men that are in our community, right? I just want to put this out here one time. Like you said, we were the last generation to really have some kind of home training with morals and all those things came. Like you said, we went to the streets. So during the time when we was in the streets, this is what we created while we was in the streets. Aside from the drugs, right? It was the crack era. So we destroyed homes. We stole mothers, we stole fathers, and we impregnated the daughters. Then we went to prison for 27 and left them. So what it left was 14, 15-year-old girls with a kid or 2 with a strung out parent with no community to help raise them.
Yeah.
So that's what, like, even now, and even now, the kids that's running around doing what they're doing now are spawns of what we left.
Yes.
Because most of the time it's our kids.
Yes.
Literally, our children, right? And the way to fix it, this how God work is for us three. Just think about us three, minus the many brothers that came home. We here now.
Yes.
We went through that whole phase of, and we saw literally, we watched the transition go from Sunday dinners and Christmas at grandma and them house to nothing, never, nowhere, everybody strung out, is over with. We saw it, but the great part about us seeing it, bro, is that we saw it from a distance. We know what it takes now that we are all home. We know what it takes now to make sure that our children's children don't experience what we and they did. That's the blessing in it. Because look at all us, Crom, you old as hell, not you old as hell, but look at us. We still young. Still young. But we still young though, bro. We still young, and we still have that vigor. We still have that excitement and enthusiasm to do something that's gonna change the scope of our neighborhoods. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And the commitment of us, right? Just think, like you said, we were doing this in the jails.
Yep.
We home now, doing the same things we were doing to them little brothers that was coming in and out of where we lived.
Yep.
We lived there. You were there 20, I was there 17. They came in and out of our house and we told them, we home now. We have to teach now because we here with them.
Yep.
We prevent them from going that way, right? So it's not going, like always, it's not going to happen in the morning.
Nope.
Progress is a process, right? We start with that commitment of us and the many other brothers that's in our same circle that's doing the same thing. Because there's a lot of us.
Yes,
There's a lot of us out here. There's a lot of us trying to do the right things.
Yep.
We just have to keep on being persistent in it. Like Kay and I, and we're creating programs where we can really motivational mentor these young people that's coming in and into our hands, right? Because like you remember, Crum, remember when we first started the ACT committee?
Yep.
Every time I came to an ACT meeting, I used to always say, what are we gonna do about these kids?
Yep.
What are we gonna do about these kids? Every time, and I was 19 damn years old then.
Yeah.
And I used to say that, and it's still the same thing because if we don't get a control of the young people, the old people, and I said this in the jail, them motherfuckers 32, 33 years old still doing the same shit. I ain't trying to say them. That's the waste of time.
You can't.
That's the waste of time. But if I can get his son or his nephew or his grandson, if I can wrap them around my arms and figure out a way to keep them from doing what granddaddy doing, then I save them. Like they my kids too. They just, you know, they my kids. We always, whatever block I live on and whatever community I live on, that's my neighborhood and that's my damn block. Any kid on that block that needs some kind of male figure, it's my job to present that to them. If we keep that same idea and keep moving, like I said, it's not gonna happen overnight. If we move in that idea, bro, we gonna see the change. Like Kay said, change done come already.
Mm-hmm.
And then come already. This here, but we just three of us on this camera right now. This is change.
Yeah.
Manifested in itself. This is change. So whatever shorty around you, Crum, I know for a fact you ain't gonna give him nothing wrong. Whatever shorty around Kay, I know for a fact he ain't gonna give him nothing wrong. That's how we build.
Yeah.
That's how we keep building. And we grab our little sister the same way. And we build our little sister the same way. That's just...
Yeah.
Because we are like the direct conflict of what everybody tell them they can't be. Like, just picture this, back to this. We got damn near 80 years of prison time sitting on the podcast.
Yeah, right now.
Having a conversation about how to help us.
Yeah.
We was the ones that they said wasn't never gonna be nothing in life.
Yeah.
Right? So our message continually is, like I tell the kids all the time, I'm not trying to be you, shorty. I'm trying to prevent you from being me. But for those who made that mistake and did walk in my shoes, I'm gonna show you how to do it the right way.
Yep.
Right? Some can come of it.
That's real.
Some can come of it.
You know, getting back to something else that y'all have mentioned, or KT, you have mentioned about Kamal. Now, you know, true indeed, She had what, a 93, 94% conviction rate as a prosecutor, as a federal prosecutor. And, you know, people can look into that and get whatever they want out of that. But the thing that people, you know, society really, or should I say the ignorant Negroes don't understand is she fought tooth and nail for what she believed in. So who's to say we can't convince her to believe in us and she apply that same energy? That's one thing. Now, the other thing is this here. On the state level, yeah, turn the gun on. Yeah, because if you got a 90-some% conviction rate as a prosecutor on a state level, yeah, you got a whole bunch of nappy-headed Negroes that you done locked up and got rid of. You know what I'm saying? But now when we talking about on a federal level, yeah, you got a few black people in there, but we don't dominate the feds like them people dominate the feds. See what I'm saying? Because they do other crimes and stuff like that that's only on a federal level. See, with ours, it don't go to a federal level until they invoke the RICO Act. See what I'm saying? With the crimes that we commit. You know what I mean? Unless we just go on a spree of bank robberies or some shit like that. See what I'm saying? Now you take that off the table, you really ain't got everybody in there that look like us. It's in there because they got some outstanding drug situations going on. You see what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily condemn her because of her conviction rate and her former job. You know what I'm saying? I don't really condemn her for that, you know, because I understand the difference between state and federal. And I do know, you know, although, like I said, there's a whole lot of our people locked up in the feds. You know what I mean? However, we don't dominate federal prison population the way white people dominate that population. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say it's good or bad. It's just to say, why are we even putting a whole lot of emphasis on that? She was doing her job. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know because I've never been in front of her. I've never committed a federal offense. So I don't know to the extent of how she's doing her job. All I know is she done her job. She got a 90-some conviction rate. You understand? But that being said, though, man, that debate too was how you say entertaining. You know what I mean? Because her and Pence, you know, I've been on record for saying, you know, and I kind of kick myself in the butt in some aspects, but in other aspects, I pat myself on the back. But I've been on record for saying Pence is a smart individual because he has kept his mouth closed throughout this whole Trump ordeal, right? But when I actually heard him open his mouth, now I know why you kept it closed. You know what I'm saying? You probably one of the dumbest motherfuckers to sit in the Oval Office alongside the president. You understand what I'm saying? But you know,
so let me hit you with three things real quick.
Okay.
With three things real quick, real quick with the her 90% conviction rate, right? So Cook County got a 90% conviction rate. The reason why the feds have this is how they cook their number. People cop out. Don't nobody go to trial in the feds.
That's why.
No. So that's what that is, right? Right. So people, yeah. And then when you look in the county, even like if you go to Cook County, the only people going to trial is dudes with bodies.
That's it.
Like so, everybody else copping out. That's why they got the cop out race. And I want to give people this view. People like Kamala Harris, because I actually had a conversation yesterday about Chief Cobb. He the police chief in Champaign. So if you remember back in the day, we in the hood, we doing what we doing. You get the old lady or the old man that'll come out and be like, man, stop selling drugs or stop doing what y'all doing, and that'll call the police, right? Imagine her granddaughter growing up like she telling her granddaughter, these are the people that's destroying our community. We need to rid ourselves of them. Kamala grew up like that, right? So she grew up thinking, this the reason why grandmama's scared to come outside. This the reason why kids can't walk down the street. They shooting up parks. They shooting up there. I don't knock that, bro, because they vision is, I just want to make our home better. So if you the motherfucker terrorizing us, you got to go. It was the same thing with Nat Turner, bro. When he got ready to do that rebellion, he killed the colors that wasn't up with what he was up with. Y'all talking about go with Mr. Charlie.
Yeah.
You got to go too.
Yeah.
And so if we never, the hood cats really got to understand that perspective.
Yeah.
Because if I can't put my daughter on the front porch or my granddaughter out there to ride her bike and you motherfuckers, I'm on y'all ass. And this is the thing, like, where you really get that education. So before I went to the joint, we bought a building. And in front of the building, you know, we did everything, did the grass, restructured the building or whatever. I came out one day. It was cats hustling in front of it. I got on them like it wasn't no tomorrow, right? Because I own this. I don't want y'all doing that in front of what I own. But as soon as I went back to K-Town, it was on and cracking. All this, man, I don't care whose house it is.
Right, you was on somebody else's building.
Right. So that is like hood cats got to understand when they see these people, because we was having that I was actually having this conversation with some professors. And one of them, I guess, wanted to show his freshness and hit me with the Meek Mill line. Lose my a black woman taking my freedom almost made me hate my people. Right. So I had to get him why they view how they view, and I understand that. If she feel like I want this, I grew up here, is a strong black community. I want my kids to grow up here, and everybody that's getting in the way of that, I'm gonna get rid of them. Oddly, we trying to accomplish the same goal.
Yeah.
They just got a different way of doing theirs. You see what I'm saying? And then the last one, I hate that we tear each other down, that self-hate. Because before Obama, Bill Clinton was the black first president, right?
Yeah, that's the stereotype.
Right? That's what you hear black people say. It ain't a president in history that done locked up more black folk than Bill Clinton. And y'all still support him. He come play the saxophone, you know, did a little infidelity in the White House. Yeah.
He just blowed it out.
That 92 crime bill changed life. It perpetuated what bro was talking about with the crack era. Right? Because it took all the men out.
Yeah.
Right? And we left all of the girls to have babies young, so it was babies raising babies, and all the hoods that turned to housewives. That's why I used to say about the shorties, the little boys been adopted their mama mentality. That's what's going on in our community. Like, that's why you hear them say, pardon me, but call each other bitches. They comfortable with it. But what we don't recognize, they comfortable. That's how their mama talk, though. They didn't adopt their mama. Girl, bitch, this, bitch. And the dude saying it. Man, I went bananas the first time my son called his brother that in my face. What they do that? What? Let me see your JJ. You a dog on 4 legs? Well, that ain't what you is. But it's that mentality, and that's what we kicking against.
It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. You know, don't get me wrong. It is extremely disgusting, man, on how the dialogue, you know, how it all go down. It's very disgusting, man.
But it is though, it is an unsightly reality.
Yes. Right? Well, like, actually, it is sightly.
We can say we can point out all the ill things that we see, right? We can point out all the ill things that we see amongst our community. We can see it. We know that we see it. My hope is that as we recognize it, we'll find ways to navigate it, to change it. Right? Even a little brother, like KT will tell you, I often take my belt off and give it to little brothers on site when I see what they pants sagging. Right? I understand the disrespect in it, but I also understand the fad in it. Right? I understand it. We talk about how, you know, the skinny jeans and all that old funny stuff. Just think about the shit we wore in the 80s during the breakdancing era. Leather pants and leather jackets and all that old funny shit. It was it's cool, right? It was a fad, right? Just think about the rayon shirts we used to wear with the Guess jeans and the the tight leg bottom goddamn silver tabs.
Yeah.
Right? It's a fad. So you see these little brothers now, I don't know where they got it from with their pants hanging down, but it's a fad to them. It's disrespectful to us because now we consider old heads. Right. So even when I see that, I explain to them what it's like to have your pants up. I don't just sit and be like, that's some disgusting ass shit. I'm like, look, bro, pull your pants up, man. Here, take this back. Why you want to have your butt hanging all out? It's the conversations. Now think about the repetitiveness of the conversation. The more you have it, like when me and KT walk in the youth build, we probably ain't been there in 2 weeks. Soon as they see us, they straighten up. Oh, they're gonna read some KT. They straighten up. Now he may not have no belt on, but he gonna pull them pants up. It's that kind of relationship that we build, especially with the young brothers, that will teach them manhood. You gotta think they've been oblivious to the ideal of what a man is based on what they see on TV or the person that's around them all the time, right? They have no idea of what manhood entails specifically, right? And it starts one with respect and integrity for yourself, right? That you have to be respected, you have to have integrity for yourself first to push it. That's what we teach, bro. Because our little brothers, they, as disgusting as they are, as bad as they look, they still are young people. They ours, but they're young people that's doing the exact same shit that we did.
Yeah.
At some point, the way that we dressed, bro, our mama them got, I don't know why you got that bud, them big ass clothes on, y'all got that shit. Right? So now we become those old people. As the time changed, right? Like, because we grown now. Crumb, you're a little bit growner than all of us, but we grown now.
Older than me, guys.
But just think about that. We have to become those old heads that still fly, that still young, that still got that idea but understanding of where they're coming from. Yeah. And we teach them and we change them through that.
And you know something? It's funny y'all brought that up, right? Two things. First, I was me and my wife was discussing a situation one time a little while back, and I explained to her about, you have to always put yourself in other people's shoes. You know what I mean? Remember that movie with Forrest Whitaker, Vantage Point? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to always look at everything from different vantage points. You know what I mean? And so you can understand if that was you, how would you react? You know what I mean? Now, the other thing is, you brought up the 80s with the breakdancing. I remember, man, coming through the house, I had on some blue and gray suede Pumas with the thick gray shoelaces. Right. Remember how you used to walk with them flopping off the back of your remember how you used to walk with them flopping off the back of your feet? Yeah. Man, I come through the house one day and they kept clickety, clickety, clickety. My mama reached up and grabbed me around my neck. She said, click one more time, I'll break it. One more time. And look, she made me tie my shoes up tighter than Angelo. You ever been around Angelo? Yeah. Angelo, when Angelo ties shoes up, the holes normally be on top of each other. So just
he gonna kick somebody. He got them dressed up so he kick somebody.
Hey, boy, Lo used to have his shoes so tight, man. The holes on top of each other, man.
That's real.
Yeah, man. I get it though, man, and because it's our time just about up here, man. But again, man, I want to thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm proud of y'all. And the first chance I get to come down there to physically contribute, I will be there. So don't count me out. And keep inviting me because I will eventually get there. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to bring my beautiful wife with me. You know what I mean? And but we have an 11-year-old, that's on the spectrum, you know what I mean? So special needs. So we have to be meticulous about where we take him and who we leave him with. You understand what I'm saying? So that kind of limits our movement, you know what I'm saying, at this particular point. But the first chance I get, man, I promise you I'm coming down there and rally with y'all, march, whatever we doing, I'm coming. And I'm going to have my wife with me. You know what I mean? But, man, again, I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all, man.
My pleasure.
be on notice because we're gonna do this again. This ain't just no one hit wonder. You know,
man.
we will be doing this again, you know what I mean, in the very near future. And I think my wife is trying to get on camera and say something. I'll come on around it because you just keep on. Come on. This is Michelle, y'all.
Hey.
How you doing, Michelle?
And that's KT and the wife.
Hi.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Thank y'all again, man. KT, make sure you get my number for Reese and text me so I can get your number so we can stay in direct communication, man. You know what I mean? And keep
We
this
here,
thing
bro.
going.
We
Okay.
here, bro. This is part of we showing. This is how we show them what black men look like loving each other.
True
Right?
indeed.
They done took the idea of love from us, or we allowed them to. This
Yeah.
what it looked like loving each other, right?
Yeah.
Coming from the mountains to the little beaches, even though they hard rock beaches, but we on it compared to where we came from. This
Right,
what
right.
love look like. You know what I mean? And we here, bro. Without question, we here.
And
Thank you,
know-
too. I want to say thank you for inviting us on, man. It was super dope seeing you. I ain't seen you since you've been home, so it's
Right.
good seeing you, man, and meeting your wife, man. So thank you, bro, and keep doing your thing.
Yep.
With this, my face belongs on the Tizzle. You see this? Look, that's how they do it.
This dude, man.
You see it?
This
You
dude,
supposed to put
man.
me on camera. I got the Denzel thing.
No, don't do no dance move. This why we be getting kicked out of places, bro. It be so no advice, bro. I be having to go places by myself. Don't bring Maurice.
Hey, KT, you heard from Maine and KT? I mean, and Kiki?
Yeah. I rap with both of them.
They all right? Okay.
Yeah, they working, man.
Okay. All right,
Trying to
man.
get everybody together, man, to get this little support thing we got.
Yeah.
Because this what we need, this camaraderie.
Yep, I agree. All right, man. Love y'all, man. Stay strong.
Ain't no question. HBNT, baby. Appreciate you, Crum, man. We love this beautiful, bro.
All right,
All
bro.
right.
And
Yeah.
let us know whenever